Hello, we're back, and I need a second. I'm a little scrambled today. I'm checking my audio levels here. I think...
Someday we'll start a stream and you'll be like, I am put together and everything is in its place.
No. I think that, I don't know. Something would be wrong with the world. I think, I mean, okay, something really, really wrong. Anyways, hi, I am Nathan. I am the DM here. We're Story Reckless. We're playing D&D, and we're starting a new chapter. I realized I didn't update our thing. See, I'm so well put together. Can I do that while we're streaming?
One way to find out.
Yeah, let me pop it open.
What's the thing?
Our stream information. That's what I was trying to.
So we might say that we're doing generic RPGs because that's...
Yes, it will say that we are doing like, I think like the card game or something. Where is it? Shoot. Well,
I mean, it's not lying. We
It's
are
not.
doing a TTRPG.
Right.
We're just being less specific than normal.
Right. Well, I don't know. Is this something that you would be able to do on your side, Claire?
Maybe. I can try while you make introductions.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all. It's, been, what?
A month.
And, yeah. Anyways, yeah, we're playing D&D. We're playing Descent into Avernus. And I am Nathan. I use he, him pronouns. Let's do some other intros. Sorry, Claire. I know you're just about to do things, but please.
I'm Claire. I'm doing things. My pronouns are they, them. And I'm playing Kidam, who is now a 12th level half-elf grave cleric in Werebore.
Excellent.
And my name is Olive. I use she and they pronouns. Tonight I will be playing Calliope, 12th level artificer.
I found it,
And I
Claire.
am doing nothing.
You're doing that. I can fix it on my side. Sorry.
Yeah, you can?
I can.
Okay. Have at it.
Stepping all over my intro.
I know. I'm
Jeez.
sorry. I saw Claire like doing stuff, and I was like, no, don't. We're gonna be. Yes. So, we're a chaotic mess this evening. I am the chaotic mess. You guys are
I'm
great.
a lawful mess.
Yeah, you guys are great and wonderful. I'm gonna quickly update this. There. And I'm gonna change this to this. And then
Okay.
there, it is updated. Okay, we're great. Let's get into this. It's been a while, and we're gonna start a new chapter here. Man, yeah. Normally we do like almost like a cold open, but does that feel appropriate for this? This is like kind of a continuation. But let's go.
Worry. Oh.
Yes, that is true.
There we go.
All right, so we find ourselves in Avernus, the first layer of hell. We see endless plains of ruin and destruction, stretching miles and miles to the horizon. No man's lands, trenches, ruined war machines, scattered bodies and bones, and lakes of demon ichor bubbling across this plain, dust storms, flames, lightning, and of course the river Styx winding its way through all of this chaos and destruction. But somewhere on this plain, somewhere hidden for a very long time on the material plane, is a place that you all have been seeking and have finally found. As we wind our way through this chaotic landscape, red rock and dust and ruin, we come through some harsh canyons, opening up into a deep, almost valley-like crater, and in the center rises up a structure a mound, a hill, but made of what almost looks to be flesh and blood, a scab rising up a sore out of the landscape, trying its damnedest to engulf this thorn in the side of Avernus, an alabaster citadel barely peeking out the top of this festering wound. You can make out some domed structures peeking out of the festering wound, little glimpses of what might be beautiful stained glass windows. And down far away at the base of this wound, slowly approaching it, we see a collection of figures. We see a collection of, well, 5 humanoid figures and one smaller one fluttering at their side. 6 figures all moving towards it. At the base of this wound, there are what look to be pools of black ichor, writhing, bubbling, almost hissing, like it's reacting to the air and burning. As we zoom in down closer to these figures, approaching the edge of these pools of ichor around the base of this wound, we see all of you. Can we do a brief description here of each of you? And why don't we start with Kadam, since you're on my screen, you're in order.
Sure. You see a relatively stocky half-elven person, deep brown skin, shoulder-length dreads, lots of ear piercings and stacks of bracelets of bronze and copper up the forearms, dressed in this remarkably clean and shining silver chainmail with 2 bags slung over their side. Big beaten up shield on their back, no weapon that you can see, and a little pouch on their belt from which you can see the handle of a small mirror sticking out. They're tired looking, weather beaten. They got kind eyes though.
And striding next to them, we see, if you don't mind describing yourself, Calliope.
Yeah, so you see a small figure riding astride a strange mechanical chicken-like figure. It's kind of like a 2-legged walker made out of bits of iron and rope and chain and little sparks of arcane energy every now and again, with a big scorpion-like tail. And the figure within has a brown cloak, blue skin, kind of like cloudy patterns throughout. And she looks like she has deep laugh lines. She's old. And the expressions she makes now, though, are somewhat hollow or distracted. It's like her face has the memory of smiling, and she'll go through the motions, but halfway through it, she'll get distracted or see another god-awful thing on this plane. And just it saps the vitality. She's getting tired. This is Calliope, a big dummy, her sealed defender.
And next to both of them, unfortunately, Enyo couldn't join us tonight, but we can briefly describe their character and hope that they will be here next week. We see Pip, a human, maybe, a tiefling, maybe, but we all know to be a satyr. She is a satyr with a wide-brimmed hat, like thigh-high leather boots, all sorts of, I think, vials and baubles, right, that she has. Um, and yeah, I think she also normally is a very jovial and mischievous, kind of a spark in her eye type of person. I would guess, and not to speak for Pip, but I would guess that we're seeing some kind of 1,000-yard stare happening in her face. Um, she has a lot going on in her head. She has a lot, I think, weighing on her, especially now as you all approach this destination. I think just to give a little bit of narrative flair here to Pip, there's flashes going through her mind of speaking with a dark-skinned, undead man atop a ruined city floating above the plain of Avernus, making a deal to bring the sword of Zariel to him when it is found. Next to all of you, there is a tiefling woman, a tall, broad-shouldered tiefling woman. She's got ibex horns, I believe red skin, and black hair, and she is wearing plate mail and has a glaive, right? Infernal iron glaive. Probably has it unstrapped at this point as you all walk up towards this thing. And next to her, kind of towards, I guess, towards the back at this point, looks to be a very pale elf. Very slender, long, flowing blonde hair, pointed features. And if you look close enough, you can see, maybe as he opens his mouth for a moment, slightly agape, looking at what stands before him, his canines are rather pronounced, and his complexion very, very pale.
He hasn't seen the sun in a long time.
Correct. And fluttering amongst all of you, maybe the brightest figure here, but even if you were to look at her face, there is a heaviness there, looking at the eyes, there's a deep sorrow in there. Is a small little elephant, probably about the size of a small dog, covered in soft golden feathers and little, I believe it's like 4 wings kind of sprouting out. If I remember correctly, I think like 2 are coming from where the ears of an elephant would be, and then 2 from the back, I think is how it is. But she is fluttering along next to all of you. Her name is Lulu. And she is looking at this place, her expression becoming more stern and stoic, with the elven figure behind yonder striding up in the rear. So, with those descriptions and all of you approaching, you see indeed before you there is these kind of like almost a ring of demon ichor around the base of this soar, and some spattered pools kind of radiating out from the base of this thing. But the closer you get to the base, the more concentrated the ichor becomes. What do you all do as you approach the scab?
Is there a clear entrance, or is it just injury?
Make a perception roll for me.
All right. Well, that's bad, but I'm better at perception now. 15.
15. You don't see any sort of entrance at the base, and as your kind of eye line slowly scans up this massive mound, you do see some kind of change, like in the striations of the almost flesh-like material. It seems to have become much more like hardened at the base, and as you go higher up, it's like, sorry, this chapter is gonna be a little gross, but it gets
Really?
it gets fresher as you go towards the top. It seems to be spongier the higher up you go, and the closest thing you see to an entrance is there might be, it looks like almost a darkened cavern maybe at the top of this hill, sort of going deeper in, up where you can see some of the domes of the building poking out. So it's the cavern is dug into or grown, you're not sure, but it's very organic into the flesh itself. But you don't see any entrances on the little bits of the building that you can spot.
All right. And remind me, have we walked or waded through Demon Ichor before? Do we know what happens?
You have, I don't think you've ever done it. You've always had war machines with you to wade through it. You have I think the closest you've maybe seen its effects is, I'm trying to think if you've ever come in contact with it. I think somebody I know came in contact with it and felt like almost like a crawling under their flesh, but nothing happened.
That was probably Pip.
Yeah, and you've also, I mean, I guess both, I think it was Calliope and Pip who interacted with the vendor at the Wandering Emporium, who seemed to have a lot of extra features, things that you haven't seen on humans typically. This was I think it was a woman who had like
cilia for
eyelashes, and I think all the fingers were, I think, like tentacles or something like that. It was, yeah, she had some features you've never seen on humans before, and she was selling lots of ichor. So I think you can kind of put the dots, connect the dots that maybe long
Probably
exposure,
unrelated.
yeah, that long exposure to ichor or maybe even any exposure to ichor could have some consequences.
Okay.
And I'd say that, just to give you all the details, I'd say like you with a 15, you see there's like maybe a spot where it's like a 20-foot gap of ichor to get over to like a dry spot at the base of the hill.
I think Calliope leans it down kind of like to this like side saddle of Big Dummy. It's like, hey, little dummy, we could use your eyes. And a black miniature armored like figure with like spikes coming out of the armor, like very, very edgelord, comes up and like kind of like crawls out of one of the bags, just like these like pointy gauntlets, like just reaching their way out to like red eyes, kind of glowing out from a helmet, and just like glowers at Calliope. And Calliope says, could you head up to the top of that thing and maybe take a look around, see if there's a way in?
Yeah, the little puppet just kind of stares at you for a moment and then sort of like does like and like floats off away.
I think actually this incarnation of Little Dummy does not just float like a puppet anymore. It has two black angel wings that kind of like sprout from its back, but they're like still made of metal, so it's very like throne of swords sort of situation.
Do they
come out?
Do they actually flutter to propel them forward, or is it just kind of like almost stylistic, right? Like they kind of,
I think it's almost, I think they like give it flaps, just kind of like, but it's like crinkling and stuff. Like it's not aerodynamically.
Yes, it's feasible, just kind of like they float, but the wings are there almost stylistically, like kind of gliding behind. Okay, yeah. So Little Dummy flies off. So you want to send Little Dummy up to investigate the top, where that opening is? Okay. Yeah. How far are you able to? How far can Little Dummy go? Are you able to like see through Little Dummy? I forget how that works.
Um, no, I cannot see through it, but like little dummy can go as far as it wants.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
So it's just gonna like go up there, like look around, and then
yeah.
come back if it finds like an entrance with like a thumbs up or thumbs down.
So yeah, Little Dummy glides up, up and up. This thing is probably approaching 300 feet in height as Little Dummy flies up to the top of this. This is a massive structure that you're standing before. Little Dummy flies up, and you're having a hard time tracking them because they're so small, and eventually they just kind of disappear over a ridge. And I think, Kadam, you can barely make out as they disappear into that opening. Yeah, I think you wait with bated breath, wondering. It doesn't take terribly long, though, until you eventually see the little shape appear again and start drifting down in your direction. When they're probably like, they're pretty small, so probably maybe 50 feet away, you can barely make out they're doing a little thumbs up.
All right, just gotta get across this nonsense out front.
You see before you the ichor itself kind of writhing and almost like steam coming off of it. Just kind of, there's even a slight hissing sound as it's just writhing there at the base of this.
Clappy, can you fly us all up?
Yeah, it'll just take a minute though. It's gonna be slow going.
All right.
And I think Clappy's gonna start unwinding some chain out of a bag of holding. Yeah, okay, Little Dummy, you're gonna have to go hook this onto the tower over there. And we'll be anchoring down here and just be climbing up and down this after you.
Okay, so again, 300 feet high. What chain are you using?
I have a fair bit of rope. Let me double check.
I also have a fair bit of rope. Let's see. I have 10 things of 50-foot rope.
Oh,
it's the heaviest thing in my inventory for this reason.
I have 150 feet of rope.
So you have enough rope for sure to make a line if you want, all the way from the top down.
Yeah.
Walk me through what the goal here is. Like what?
Yeah, so the goal is to like hook it, anchor it up at the top, then cast Levitate on Big Dummy.
Got it.
And then have Big Dummy work, kind of like work its way up and down,
right,
like a gondola.
Got it. Okay, great. Yeah. I don't think that this needs a roll because this is just a matter of taking time to fix everything. And I mean, looking around, you don't see any movement of any creatures, just this bubbling ichor. Yeah, okay. So Little Dummy, you take some time getting a gauge of like how far this is. You take time to start connecting ropes to create what you think is maybe the right length, probably even a little extra. And you end up with a very, very long coil of rope. Little Dummy scoops it up and slowly starts to fly up.
Yeah, does Little Dummy have enough carrying strength?
So here's the thing, because
yeah,
what is going to happen, and this might be fine, like might not even be an issue. Little Dummy, I think, can get it up there. It's gonna drag and just kind of through the ichor and start like creating a streak of ichor up the side of this scab.
Maybe the play is to get everyone to the base first and like ferry everybody over to the base, and then it's just an up-down situation.
I mean, so Little Dummy's going up with the rope. It's starting to drag through the ichor.
I think Calliope's like, hey, stop! And
so
just
Little
like
Dummy like stops, turns to look.
Come back down. What's
floats
Let's
down.
replay this. Let's just get across one step at a time. I always say one step at a time. That's how you get anywhere.
So little dummy comes down. There is like a good probably we'll call it a 30-foot section of rope that has
we don't need that
on it.
Just get rid of it.
Okay, so cut that off. It plops onto the ground.
Remove one 50-foot thing of rope from my inventory.
There you go. So you just fully just take that whole thing of rope, just chug it. And little dummy comes back. Okay, so what's the new play here?
The new play is just to like set up a, I guess, like horizontal one across. You said like 20 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I
then
guess.
so-
How will you affix it to the other side?
I mean, it doesn't have to support weight, right? It just needs to guide Big
Yeah.
Dummy.
Yeah, basically just like
Oh,
anyone
Misty
can
Step.
hold it.
You'll miss a step. Okay.
That's easy.
Okay.
So I grab one end of the rope.
I don't think that's even necessary. You could just carry it. Or okay, so
Wading through the ichor?
no. Okay, so little dummy. I feel like I'm doing that like fox cabbage goat thing. Okay, so here's how it goes. Little dummy brings the rope across.
Okay.
I cast levitate on big dummy.
Okay.
Kadam or somebody or like Valor's
see.
good at holding things. Holds it on one end, and big dummy ferries people across, like goes back and forth one at a time, until going back finally with Valor. Valor climbs into big dummy, and then we just pull
Okay.
the final. Like they just hold on to it.
Okay.
Sure.
Great. Yeah. So Kadam is getting ready to like head over there, and then you're stopped as Calliope is quickly. I think, if I may, Calliope, I think you're like wait, and pull out the chalkboard and are like diagramming it out. Like,
Calliope, we don't need the full explanation. Just do it.
and yeah. So with some careful precision and time, little dummy floats over there, and it's just enough tension with Valor's help that big dummy is able to start pulling across. And as soon as you get the first person on the other side, they're able to take over for little dummy and create that line of tension. You all, one by one, are being ferried across. We see big dummy with their kind of chunky chicken walker legs grabbing onto the rope and pulling across, as we see Kadam go over Pip, Calliope, Lulu all the while is just kind of fluttering in between all this, just kind of keeping an eye out. Avernus isn't necessarily a loud place, but it is the sounds you're hearing here. You're not really hearing the sound of the wind with all of the rocky walls surrounding this space. You're just hearing that consistent bubble and hiss of the ichor below you, just, and eventually big dummy goes back empty with Valor there, Valor climbing in, and you're able to pull big dummy across the gap, landing on the other side. It's like it almost feels like you're stepping on rock. Just a tiny bit of give, and with big dummy's like hard metal claws kind of down into it, you see like flecks of hard red kind of, but there is a steep incline up to the top, so it will be a little bit of a climb, a scramble, but it's again like almost 300 feet to the top. So if you're not using any magical means or anything like that, I will need...
We're going to do the same thing, yeah? Because levitate lasts for...
Okay.
Levitate only lasts for 10 minutes, so I think levitate was probably good for getting us across that 20-foot barrier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think what we need here is the same thing, but with spider climb, which lasts an hour.
Oh, okay, cool. So you'll send big dummy up with the rope to create a line down?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
And then affix it up there, and then I guess like big dummy could just ferry us up and down again,
Yeah.
like a gondola.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you begin the process. Big dummy spider climb activates and starts to...
And I think
Can I
it's
go
just
up
like
first
before big dummy.
with Big Dummy.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, and so like big dummy just like I think just like punches its feet into this like scabby ground,
Mm-hmm.
and then like kind of like locks one foot, and then swings and pivots the next foot up, and like locks it in, and
Yeah,
then like puts all the weight on that one, and just like walks up
totally. Yeah.
bit by bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I almost imagine like some kind of extra like cleat like apparatus sort of out
yeah.
of Big Dummy's claws as you activate Spider Climb, and they slamming into the scab start to ascend with Kadam, you kind of, leaning back at this angle, riding up with Big Dummy.
Big Dummy's only a medium creature, remember, and so this is just like a person climbing up. It's not like you could like sit in the seat
Yeah,
or
you.
I will,
something.
I will sit straddling Big Dummy's face.
Oh God. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. It's awkward, but
Yeah.
I imagine it is.
you were able to do so. I think Big Dummy has that feature that's like can carry like a heavy load or something, right? I mean, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't
Yeah.
believe so.
Regardless, I think this is reasonable for this construct to do this. It's a little bit of an awkward seating position, Kadam, but eventually, with a bit of time, you and Big Dummy start to crest the summit of this scab, and you start to see the entrance to this cave kind of starting to appear, and on either side, kind of to left and right, you see sort of the amorphous blob of this this wound encrusting over bits of the actual alabaster structure that is there. When you're getting close to the entrance, Big Dummy's speed, I think, increases just a little bit as the hardened material, you clearly start to see it like giving way more, and there's even, you're starting to see like weeping wounds gushing out of the claws as they dig into the side of this thing. Oh, hello, Slicey 604, Sly. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Big Dummy is, yes, as Calliope or Olive stated, Steel Defender. Like a mechanical construct, almost like a small chicken walker kind of, but like
Looks a lot like this.
yes,
little guy.
there you go. Yes,
I got a Lego model.
yeah, with like a scorpion tail and like sort of, but kind of made of steel and wood and rope and chain. So yeah, this mechanical construct up the side of this wound, blood gushing down the side of each step as they go. Kadam, Big Dummy eventually comes to a stop here at the entrance. In terms of affixing the oh, awesome, thank you, so glad you're here. In terms of affixing the rope to something, like I what do you imagine affixing it to? Because this is like, again, it's like
I'm in the flesh, not the
you're in the flesh. It is like a spongier material, and there's this cave entrance, but there's no, you don't really see any sort of like, there's no like handles or holds or anything. There's the building itself that's kind of poking up, but again, it's like you're looking at massive like turreted towers and like, rounded roof kind of thing.
I will take one of the tent.
Yeah, a stake.
Steak.
Oh,
One of the tent
and
steaks.
steak into flesh pit. That's bad.
Yep. I will do that.
Okay.
And tie it off there.
Yeah, so oh, this is gonna be such a gross chapter. So yeah, so it is affixed into place. It's not pleasant, Kadam.
I mean, I don't expect that it is.
You definitely get some viscera on your hands, and it kind of sends a chill through you. It like involuntary, like, yes, it's gross, it's icky, but there is like a sinking of your heart and like a feeling of dread as the liquid splashes onto your hand. Awesome. The rope is affixed. So the plan is here that Big Dummy's going to use Spider Climb to just ferry people up and down, and
Yep.
they kind of use the rope just as like a stabilizer.
Yeah. The rope's just for extra.
I'm going to say this. Yes, Big Dummy has Spider Climb on. I think the people riding it, except for those that are, I mean, really only you, Clyde, because you actually are designed to sit in this thing in the pilot seat, but everybody else is a size medium creature. It's a little more of an awkward situation. Probably should have had Kadam do this, but let's move on. I would like everybody to make, so I guess just Valor and Pip and Yonder to make athletics checks at advantage. And this is just purely like, you know, using Big Dummy and the rope to kind of hold on as they go up. This is going to be really easy. So basically you need to roll so bad to fail. This is like I'm gonna say this is literally like a DC 5 just to like stay stabilized.
Pip got a 2.
Hell yes. Yes. Well, let's see what Yonder gets. Let me get all these out of the way.
When you say something like that,
Oh, I know. It's like a guarantee that like something bad is going to happen.
2 of our 3 players have a negative modifier to their strength, Nathan.
Yes. Here, let me actually switch over to the Avernus map, which I don't really have a Bleeding Citadel located on this map because it's kind of, you know,
A mystery.
But I'll just put you up here in the corner.
there's some canyons over here on the right side.
Oh, that's kind of where that is actually a spot, but we'll use that for now.
Great.
You just never went there. Let's switch this up. Okay, Yonder's fine with an 18. What did Valor get?
25.
So Yonder and Valor are fine. So we'll say this, that Yonder and Valor go first, and I think Valor's probably gonna go last. So this is probably like Pip is in the middle here. So Yonder heads up, Pip gets on and starts to head up. There's one section in particular that is incredibly steep that a Big Dummy has to go at almost like a 45-degree angle, like really steep. So you really got to hold onto the rope and like kind of, work with Big Dummy to get up the side of this. Pip's arms give out. I need Pip to make a dexterity saving throw to see if she can, manage to not fully go tumbling.
That's nat 20.
Her arms. How does this work? I think.
Maybe it's like her arms give out and like Big Dummy like whips its tail out and she just lands perfectly like balanced on this like outstretched tail.
Yes.
Just kind of like.
So as she
tightrope
tumbles
walker.
backwards, she kind of does a backwards somersault and the tail flicks out and she perfectly tumbles and somersaults backwards and kind of like a dancer pops up on her feet and is sitting there balancing. All of you above can see this like over kind of the lip of this ridge, and everyone below, she's like, almost 200 feet off the ground, just like balancing on the side of this steep section. And Big Dummy just kind of does a quick the sort of spherical head sort of looks and sees, and then starts going up the side as Pip is just like, all right, Big Dummy, you're doing great. Just keep going. You're almost there. And right as Big Dummy gets over the lip of this steep section and sort of starts to level out, Pip quickly kind of stumbles and grabs on to Big Dummy's backside and starts to scramble to the front and hold on, managing to get all the way up to the top to join the rest of you.
You did great.
That was terrible. I should have just taken one of my fucking flying potions and just floated up. I don't know why I even put myself through that, but it might come in handy later. So we'll just hold on to it. Valor eventually climbs on to the back of Big Dummy and makes her way up and gets up here at the entrance. This darkened interior gaping before you. It is a kind of a straight tunnel into darkness. Those of you with dark vision are able to see all the way to where it looks like it starts to bend a little bit and open up 60 feet back. Let me actually look here.
Can I have cast Detect Evil and Good while people are getting up?
Yeah, totally. What is, remind me again what that does.
Looking for Celestials, Aberration Celestial, Elemental, Fey, Fiend, or Undead within 30 feet of me. And then if there's a place or object that has been magically consecrated or desecrated.
Oh, okay. Within 30 feet?
Within 30 feet.
Okay, so you cast the spell and immediately just everything around you is a desecrated it's like two competing forces are at work here of like very potent, powerful, fiendish energy that is doing everything in its power to, I guess, whatever desecrate means, right? Like to thwart the strong celestial presence that is here. It's like it's everywhere under your feet and radiating off of this wound and radiating off of the structure. Although the structure isn't within 30 feet of you, so it's like a good probably 80 feet away, so not quite within range, but there's still like, I don't know, almost like currents of celestial energy like buffeting against this fiendish presence that's all around you. Other than that, there's no like, you're not picking up any like creatures or denizens nearby.
Other than Lulu and Yonder.
Lulu, Yonder, a little from Pip.
Yeah.
A little bit from Pip. And I don't think Valor I don't think Tieflings do, so yeah, it would just be coming from Pip. Yeah. And yeah, so this entrance goes about 60 feet back, and you can see it looks like it splits into two paths to the left and right, down into darkness.
Okay. Left.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. And I'll leave that up. It lasts 10 minutes, so
Okay.
just kind of as we're going.
Okay. Yeah, you begin to descend as this tunnel is kind of at an angle going down. You descend down into the darkness. The cave itself narrowing as you go, getting down to about a little over 5 feet wide. The walls rough, fleshy interior, like you're going into some massive creature. There is that strong iron taste in the air, kind of mixed with putrid smell. It's not great. And the walls themselves are kind of slick and almost weeping as you move in. You get to the end of this entrance, and you indeed start to see the path open up to the left and right. Immediately to your left as you approach and kind of lean in and look, it is completely dark within here. You can see that part of the building that was there at the top is sort of pressing through, like the scab itself was unable to cover a portion of the building. And there is what looks to be part of a stained glass window that is appearing here on the side of this stone wall to your left. You also notice that there are two other like tunnels that go not quite straight down, but at a very steep angle, almost like 45, maybe even more degrees down deeper. The one to the right, it looks like it kind of goes off to the right, and there's another set of split, like another fork. And the left fork, you can see there's this tunnel that just goes down into darkness. The right fork seems to continue and bend off down some other direction. To your left, where that stained glass window is, that passageway just continues into darkness, and there's kind of like a little pocket off to the right where there's this hole that goes down into deeper into the darkness. The window itself looks to be the portions that aren't kind of smeared in viscera. There's like yellow or more like gold and blue panes of glass, and you can see kind of like a portion of what looks to be a very angelic face, for lack of a better word. Sort of feminine features just sort of barely poking out from the side.
Well, it looks like we're probably in the right place. So what's the idea? We just pop in, pick up her sword? All our problems are solved?
I mean, we go down, right?
Gotta be.
I'm trying to remember her name. Was it Yale? Who has the sword? Regardless, yeah. Does the angelic figure have a blindfold on? I don't know if it would matter or not, but
you get closer and you do indeed see there is like in the kind of half of the face, it's almost like this top quarter of a face, where the eye is, there is a stylized pane of like a blindfold.
All right. So this is a representation of Zoriel before she fell.
Seems that way.
All right. I don't suppose it looks like... Well, I will address myself to it. Hello? Can you hear me? I'll try and Celestial.
You see someone there?
Well, sure. I gesture to the face. I mean, that's Zoriel.
That's a window.
Right, but there's a representation of a person.
Okay. Gods are weird.
You talk to someone who's stuck in a shield. I don't see why I can't talk to someone who may be stuck in a window.
You know, they've got a point, Pip tunes in as she kind of steps forward, looking around. Oh, this place is pretty awful, isn't it? So, did you hear any voices? Make a perception roll.
Natural 20. 29.
I'm telling you, Kadam, there's no way that there's anybody in that
Hold on.
window.
Give her a chance.
You focus in. First thing, you still have that spell up. The energy radiating off of the window and the side of the building is very strong. This strong, like, celestial current wafting off of it and sort of spilling out into this tunnel. And there is like that like clashing of the two in this point here. You hear the sort of periodic dripping throughout this space. And you start to hear other sounds. Both from the left and the right. There's sounds. There's something wet. There's a crunching, a tearing. You hear somewhere off to your right, far, not too far, but somewhere down that winding passage, you hear kind of the sound of like a and then you hear faintly what sounds like language. Two deep guttural voices. Sounds like it could be an argument.
So from the same direction?
To the right, yeah.
Okay.
The southern part of the map.
Mm-hmm.
To the north, you also kind of hear like a wet sloshing sound. And you sort of hear like a but no voice comes to you from the window. Just what sounds like could be creatures and language coming from the north and the south. Oh, what was your total roll?
29. I'm good at this now.
Those sounds you are able to pick up. And as you're getting ready to act on this information, whatever it is you might do, there is a deep sound, something far below you. A low, guttural rumble. Like a deep exhale. Something. And you even feel the ground itself below you. It's almost imperceptible, but you almost feel it vibrate. That's what you get with the 29.
Great, thank you. I turn to the rest of the group. All right, y'all want to interrupt an argument or meet a wet laughing person?
There's the only two options.
Currently, I suppose we could stick our head down the hole and shout.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
And,
Well, if they're talking-
to be clear, the sounds are not coming from the two holes in the ground. They're coming from the passageways. They're
Yeah.
kind of on this level, if we want to call it that.
Yeah.
I vote argument. Seems like if folks are talking, they could maybe, show us around the place, give us a tour.
I'm down. We head right.
Okay,
I'll lead the way.
thank you. Who's going behind Calliope?
Me.
Okay.
I vote Valor and Beck.
Okay, great. Put Valor in the back. I think for
You want
this...
me to send little dummy down one of these holes just to see what's what?
All right. There's something big and breathing down there.
Okay, let's get the tour first.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna cautiously on Big Dummy.
Are you trying
walk my
to be
way through.
quiet?
It never hurts to try.
Never hurts to try.
Okay, let's do a group stealth check.
Just flat, right?
um, just flat
Yeah.
for.
Just for everybody. Like, there's no advantages or
Oh no, no, no,
disadvantages.
no! There's no advantage. Yeah, and I mean, some of you might have
Right.
disadvantage. I don't know. I think Valor has disadvantage, but yeah,
Valor has disadvantage.
yeah, just a flat stealth roll.
So 15 for me, 10
Okay.
for Valor.
Okay.
14 for Calliope and 16 for
14 and 16. Okay. Okay. Great. Um. All right. You all start to creep down this hallway as quiet as you can. As you start to approach, you come around the corner and you start to see it opening up. There's another. There is just a straight, like, gouge in the floor that is filled with blood. There's just blood filling this gouge in the floor, this almost little pond in the middle of this tunnel. And as you're moving down this fleshy tunnel, the sounds coming from ahead are getting louder, and the argument is indeed seeming to become more heated. You start to hear like guttural, almost like bestial sounds coming from down further in this tunnel.
let's go.
Splashes of
We go.
blood. You start to quietly hurry along to get to the entrance of this what looks to be opening up into another larger area. Calliope, as you skitter up, you can go ahead and place yourself there, kind of at the entrance. The two beings inside do not take notice of you, and you are being very quiet in this. As you look into this chamber, you see it does open up into kind of a pocket, like a dead end. You notice as you approach, though, that there are like strewn about body parts on the floor as you're approaching. There's like severed limbs and segmented pieces. They look humanoid, but they're not like fleshy. Like, they look almost like exoskeleton. And you realize they kind of look very similar to the beings that were working with Gideon, the kind of insect-like fiends that had like I think they had like tridents as weapons, and multiple arms, sort of purple iridescent exoskeletons. These limbs are sort of like splattered all around the entrance to this pocket, and as you peer inside, you see these two hulking figures. They are like massive toads, standing a good 10 to 12 feet in height, broad shoulders covered in thick like warts and spines all running down their backs, massive gaping mouths as they and they are both fighting over what looks to be a partially intact corpse. And you hear another like kind of tearing sound, and you realize as they're pulling at this corpse, which is missing some limbs, and there are more bits and pieces around, like from other bodies that are spread all around this place. This seems to be the last intact corpse. As they are pulling, you hear again another like, and you see a piece of this body just pull as it gets torn in half, and the one of these toad-like creatures ends up with just like an arm, and the other one ends up with the rest of the body, and this bigger toad-like creature with just the arm just looks and goes and leaps, and they start to just go into a full brawl in the middle of a festering pool of blood. This is a massive pool of blood, like a gouge in the scab that is just filled with blood and body parts, and they are now tumbling and tearing at each other, fighting over this body. You see flesh tearing, claws, teeth biting into each other, and they are going at it.
I turn away. I'm inclined to let them finish.
Okay? Calliope?
Oh,
They're just fighting.
It seems like a great time if we wanted to fight them. Just pop in, mess them up while they're distracted.
I was thinking we wait until they're done and then we talk to them when they're weak.
A huge tear in the side of one of these things just, and you see a bunch of like black squirming bits just pour out the side of the belly of this creature. Leaps on the other one.
Let's go.
Bites into the neck.
We'll back up.
And as you are backing up, you just hear one definitive final as one of them has the other's neck in its jaws and just does a brief little tug, and there's a snap, and the bigger one just goes limp and starts to, you see the flesh starting to kind of, as like black goo is starting to pour out of it.
That's important. So is that demon ichor? These guys are demons?
You guess so, based on the fact that the body is starting to, like, if you stay and watch and observe,
Yeah.
the one that died, the other one just kind of spits in it, and the big body tumbles into the blood and starts to kind of float there. But as it floats there, you start to see black goo mixing with the red blood, and the big body itself starting to like sort of sink in on itself as what looks like ichor is starting to like ooze out of this fiend.
We were told by Gideon that these people weren't demons nor devils.
Well, the two big ones.
They were special things.
The two big ones, I guess if one of you wants to make Arcana or Religion, these two big toad-like creatures.
Yeah, sure. I'll make an Arcana.
Let me get to religion. I don't know jack shit about nothing.
What did you get?
It ain't terrible. 9.
9.
I got 16.
16?
Wait.
You...
11.
Kadam, yeah, you don't know. Calliope, you're not certain, like, what type of fiends these are, like, what they're called. But as you're observing and you see that one of these big toad creatures, the one that just died, its body is starting to rapidly, like decompose and turn into black goo. This is a demon. This creature isn't from this plane of existence, and when demons die not on their home plane, they rapidly turn to ichor. So these are two demons, and they're fighting over the corpses of, yes, what Gideon described as not devil or demon, but as its own fiend.
Okay, looks like they're done. Let's mess them up.
There's only one left. That's just kind of like now is sort of like lumbered over to what remains of the body, and it's just like picking it up and is starting to like.
Okay, on 3.
Are we attacking or are we asking questions?
I had to be demonic. I was hoping it would be a devil.
They still might know something.
I think we should just kill them. I think this is a killing situation. Let's just clean it up and figure things out ourselves.
Right.
Okay, I'm 3.
1, 2.
And then like Calliope just kind of like leaps out and like tries to start like stabbing it from outside of the.
All right. Yeah, sure. You got all past the stealth roll, and these things were very distracted. So Calliope, if you want to kick this off and charge into the room to stab it, go ahead and make your attack rolls with advantage.
Sick. I would love to do that.
So I'm just
That's
gonna
2
move
attacks.
your tokens.
27
here
and
for
16.
now. Hold on. Why don't they have the AC there? Those both hit.
Sick. That is a total of 26 damage.
So this is the one that already has like a huge gash in its like kind of like side lower stomach area. So there's just like stuff kind of hanging out of it while it's still eating. You come charging in, and it kind of looks up a bit too late as you leap in, and the scorpion tail, a big dummy, just 2 decisive blows into its neck, and it kind of sort of tumbles over, barely clinging to life. It kind of is trying to stand up. Kadam.
I would like a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay.
DC 17.
Okay, let me just double check. Okay, they do have magic resistance, so this is at advantage. Yeah, that is a 22. So,
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so the blast misses it as it's trying to scramble up and confront you all. But you do have a full party, so I'll move the rest of the party down. Do you want to have Valor go, Kadam?
Sure, why not?
Valor has a glaive, right?
Yeah. So she will go for 2 attacks. The first one's a natural 20.
Nice.
Wow. That's 25 slashing damage with the first hit.
Oh my god.
Second one is 22 to hit.
Yeah, you're good. It
Okay.
was so messed up. So Valor comes in and just with one decisive slice of the glaive, slices right across the throat of this thing, and it just black goo spills out, and it falls on its back, and immediately it starts to kind of sink in. More black goo starting to fill this bloody pool.
Yeah, I don't think they knew anything. Probably not.
I don't know.
Looking around the room, there are the bits and pieces of these Yugoloths that are kind of strewn about. They all look to mainly be like the insectoid-like creatures, but there is like in the corner, the far corner over here, there's like the remnants of a big, muscular, hulking, like green-skinned arm. That's still, the hand is kind of like twitching with some reserve like muscle movements, and is clinging to what looks to be a large greatsword that's just kind of like twitching in the corner.
So that would imply that was a devil, right?
If it's not decomposing. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
Valor, you like swords, right? Wanna go fish that out?
I wouldn't say no, sure. Yeah, she goes over and steps on the arm to like get its fingers to release, and then scoops up this sword. It looks to be
Magic?
I mean, it looks like
It's an infernal greatsword.
this one does not look to be an infernal greatsword. This one looks like it's made of a different material.
That's probably worth an identify.
It does look sorry, I'm just trying to think of a It looks like a very like dark, almost like matte gray steel, and it's all like relatively like utilitarian and like simplistic, kind of just like a big fat blade that goes up and kind of like in a big kind of chunky sort of point at the end. The crossguard is like very simplistic, but it is incredibly sharp, as Valor sort of picks it up and like, you know, hefts it off the ground. And it looks like the sword would have been just like essentially a long sword for the size of the arm that's sitting there. And she kind of like runs, you know, like tests the sharpness of it, and immediately is like, ooh, all right, seems good. I mean, I could just give it a try.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
What could go wrong?
I guess if it's effective against any other things? What? I thought there weren't supposed to be anything. It wasn't supposed to be anything in here.
Yeah. It seems like this place is awful crowded for a place that we just spent the last God knows how long looking for.
Right.
I mean, we were told that devils couldn't find this place.
All right.
That seems like a pretty big loophole.
Yeah. Hey, well, look, I'm not complaining. This sword seems good. I'll give it a try, and if it works, great. Usually pretty clear when you smack something if it doesn't quite do the job. So,
Great. Let's not waste time then.
so I guess she'll give it a try. I mean, what do you? What I guess you're running Valor, Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'll try the great sword.
Yeah.
Seems to make sense.
So do I still?
For now, you can roll your normal 2-hit roll, and if something more happens, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And it is
Is
2d6
my
damage.
detect good and evil still running?
Yeah.
Am I getting anything from the sword?
It's right at the end of this. What is? Do you get stuff from objects?
A place or object that has been magically desecrated or consecrated.
Yeah. No. There's nothing like that coming off the sword.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
She has a great sword for now.
Shall we try the other direction?
Nah, there's another entrance here. Let's keep going this way. Oh, no, that's just a nook. Never mind.
Yep.
Okay.
I just kind of ran right past it.
Do you all want to go the other direction or go down one of the holes?
Let's go the other direction.
Okay. I'd say at this point, Kadam, the spell is wearing off.
Okay.
Okay. My question stands again. Are you trying to be quiet as you go this direction?
Sure are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead.
4.
8 on Pip. And
4.
10 on Calliope.
13 for Valor.
I think we walked into that room and we got like blood on our shoes. Now it's like squelch, squelch, squelch.
All right. So we have we had 10 for Calliope, 8 for Pip, 4 for Gadam.
Mm-hmm. 13 for Valor.
Okay. All right. You are doing your best to be as quiet as possible, but it is indeed like squelching as you go. As you start winding your way around this passage, it kind of starts to corkscrew and spiral, almost going down a bit. Calliope, you leading the way, that you do start to pick up on the sound of what kind of sounds like this like plop of something into liquid, and periodically like a coming.
I'm imagining a goat person.
Coming somewhere from up ahead. You slowly creep around. Eventually you get to a section where it looks like there's a passageway that sort of opens off to the right, and then the main passage sort of continues corkscrewing down. As you sort of look around the corner, the sound itself seems to be coming from this passageway off to your right. As you peer in, you see another chamber, another like pocket. Like these are all like narrow tunnels that you're going through, and then these almost like big old pockets that sort of open up. They seem to be almost like fresher and more fleshy, these like pockets that peer off of these tunnels. And in the center, there's another like gouge that is starting to fill with blood dripping from the ceilings. And there's a collection of 5 figures, all like hunched on their haunches around this puddle of blood. And face down in the blood, there's just, you can kind of make out some sort of like humanoid figure. The back of their skull is gone, and you see these hunched figures, which do indeed have like curved goat horns and kind of like shaggy fur that's sort of like coming down their shoulders. They're like grabbing what look to be like little bones that they have just kind of scattered about the place, and they're periodically grabbing bones and just like throwing them and trying to get them to land in the back of the skull of this figure that's lying face down in the blood. And as like one goes plops into the skull, all of them go and they're just sitting there doing that, chucking bones.
We talk to these people.
You know what, Kadam? Sure. Let's talk to these people. They sound like a great crowd. Great crowd. I'm so glad we're making friends.
We'll see how it goes.
Do you mind if I stand in front of you, though? Like, kind of.
Sure. Could you stand a little off to the left?
Okay.
So I will approach with Calliope a little off to the left in front of me.
All right, let me move the rest of the party over there. They're not in the room, but I'm just putting them there for now. Okay. So, Calliope, you're going in with Kadam?
Yeah.
Okay. Just before you go in, Kadam, you feel the little soft trunk of Lulu kind of tap your shoulder. Are you sure?
I mean, not entirely.
Okay.
But we gotta start talking at some point.
Yeah, it's so weird that there's people, demons here.
Yeah, I want to know why.
Yeah, I thought it was like fiends, but maybe it was just devils. I'm gonna wait here because I whenever I'll
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right, you step into the room, Kadam.
I'll get like air.
Okay.
I was hoping we could choke point them, but that's cool too, I guess.
Well, you can be right there if you want to.
I mean,
Okay.
and Kadam, are you trying to quietly walk into the room, or are you just walking in? Okay.
I'm walking in.
You turn the corner and start to walk in, squelch, squelch, squelch with your boots. And immediately as you start walking down that little passageway, the two closest sort of turn, their heads kind of turning almost unnaturally 180 to face you. You see now these figures, they're kind of, they're humanoid. They have more or less like sallowed skin that's exposed below the shoulders and long kind of fingers with where nails would be, they kind of extend into almost like hoof-like claws, like at the end of each finger. Back towards their back, you see it kind of extends down into a long flicking tail, almost lizard-like, with sort of quills running down the tip of it. That's sort of just like flicking there. And as the heads turn, you see these goat-like heads. But you can see that for all of them, their faces and like around the shoulders and exposed arms, there's just like pustules and exposed wounds just sort of propagating all over the flesh of these things. And you realize now that there are some, I mean, for lack of a better description, there's like little flies in kind of skirting around them, but you're not entirely certain that they're flies. There's some kind of flying little creature that's just kind of like around them, but the heads just turn and look at you and just give this strange smile as just kind of thick, slimy kind of drool is just gathering around the edges of their mouth and sort of dripping down onto the ground as they just hunch there looking at you. And they sort of look hungrily at you as you come walking into the room.
Hello, folks. This may be a little forward, but I'm wondering, why are you here?
All of them now turn and look at you, and they kind of like almost hunched and hop and crawl and start to spread out looking at you, their heads twisting and staring. Some of them twitch and look in your direction, Calliope. And both of you feel kind of a presence press into your mind, and not really language, but you're able to, they're communicating, and you are able to you're able to get the meaning of what they're saying, but it's odd. If you were to try to describe it to somebody, it's like you wouldn't be able to describe any language. You would just almost inherently know what they're trying to say as they pierce into your minds telepathically to communicate. You hear the voices come through. It makes sounds. Oh, the lovely sounds. I wonder what other sounds it'll make. And they start to kind of lumber and hop and spread around you. Oh, what would happen if we were to pierce deep inside and pull the stringy bits out?
Hey, keep your distance.
The tail just like flicks menacingly, I think.
They kind of look around.
We're just trying to talk.
Starting to kind of spread out around you all. Yeah, do you say anything?
Have you found good hunting here?
Do you say that out loud?
I project that toward them.
Okay. I also need you both to make con saves for me as you're standing within the presence
Hold my
of these
breath
things.
if they're stinky.
This is more than that.
Okay, great.
There is a tingling sensation bubbling on your skin as you stand next to these things, like a burning.
Got it.
5.
Okay.
26.
Okay, Calliope, you are fine as you feel this burning sensation on your skin, but Kadam, you standing this close to these things, you realize your hairs are starting to like curl and die. You take 3 points of necrotic damage just being within the presence of these things. And you projected found good hunting. Is this what you projected? Maybe. We had a bit of fun. Yes. We were told we didn't need them anymore. So we wanted to see what would happen if they were pushed into the viscera, held there. And then we wanted to see what was inside. And we want to see what's inside many things. We long for it. Yes. What is inside you? I smell something.
Sounds like we might have something in common. We also are looking for something inside of something else.
One of them sort of twists its head and leans in. These strange little bugs sort of... What's it looking for?
Something deep down. How far down have you gone? How far in have you gone?
We come from deep. Yes. Always crawling. Always
He's eating. He's consuming. Oh, deep, deep down.
Would you show me?
What would you give us?
Something precious to me that I have been carrying for a long time.
Is it those heads? You got all those heads.
One of them hops up close to you. Kadam, make another con save for me, and you as well, Calliope. Just again being in the presence of these things.
26
19.
again.
You both are fine, but you feel that burning sensation. This one hops up to you, Kadam. The stench coming off of it is becoming unbearable. You see these strange little insect-like creatures buzzing around it. One of them lands on you, and immediately you feel a pinch and look down and just see it's like, where do you have exposed flesh? Like on your probably hands?
Hands and face
So
and neck. That's really it.
Yeah, so I think it lands on one of your hands, and as you feel that pinch and go to slap, you see it pull away, and there's just like a pock mark on your flesh as it just pulled a chunk out. It's looking at you now, and its long spindly fingers are reaching out and starting to like stroke the side of your arm.
Show us! Show us!
What do? You grab it?
I grab the wrist.
You grab the wrist. It immediately goes and bites down onto your wrist. And you hear in your mind a like, yes, I want to see. Let's see. It bites down. I'm just gonna do a straight.
Can I
19?
get disadvantage on it with Big Dummy's reaction, like the deflect thing? Since
Sure.
I'm like on guard
So
here.
that'll be a 10. So it'd say definitely as it goes to bite onto your arm.
Like the tail of Big Dummy just like flicks it away. That's
and
it.
some
none
of
of
the like barbed teeth just go flying out of its mouth and land against the fleshy wall, and immediately they start to bubble and hiss and turn into little black puddles as it
Hey, get him the thing. Get him the thing. Quick.
I will give you what I have once you take us down.
No, I want it now. And they start to pull on your arm to get you close and start like pawing at your chest.
You show us now. Yes.
I will show it to you, but I will not give it to you until you fulfill your end of the bargain.
More of them are now hopping in close, all excitedly. Those voices, that strange sensation, it's like coming from all of these creatures, like buffeting into your minds. Both of you make con saves again.
Get on, get them the thing. 15.
5.
Kadami, you're going to take only 1 point of necrotic damage. Again, that's that burning sensation just getting stronger. Calliope, you're fine. Let me check something really quick to make sure I'm doing this right. Oh, wow. Actually, Kadam, we're not going to worry about the other times you took damage, but for this one, what did I say? You took 1 point? It's actually 5 points of necrotic.
That's right.
It seems to have gotten worse with all of them pressing in around you.
Okay.
What do you do, Kadam?
I will pull out Pascaluska's head.
Still pretty preserved.
Relatively preserved. I'm
Okay.
probably a couple days over at this point, but pretty
as-
darn fresh.
As soon as it appears, there is a rush of like excitement and euphoria that floods through both of you. I mean, the two closest to you immediately try to grab it.
I'm going to shove it back in.
Okay, this is going to be contested with two of them. You can, we'll call it a grapple, right? So you can do athletics or acrobatics to try to resist this.
Can I go werebore?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Nice.
That will give me advantage.
Okay, so hulk out into werebore form and woof, try to shove it in. Go for it.
There we go. 21.
22.
Flash of genius.
Natural
Is it
20.
worth it? No, I don't think Calliope's invested enough to flash a genius.
So you're able to you go to try to shove it in, and you realize that one of them is going to get it, so you have to kind of like correct to like pull it away from the opening as the hand snatches, and in that moment of having to correct, the other one just grabs, pulls, and immediately darts off into the room, is darting away from you, and is just now vocally just going as they all just start to leap off into the room.
Can I make an attack of opportunity against the one that has the head?
Yes, of course.
All right, this is going to be an unarmed strike.
They're all excitedly rushing towards this one with the head. Both of you can make attacks of opportunity.
19.
That hits.
Crit for 24 damage.
Okay, how much damage from you, Kadam?
7 bludgeoning.
Okay, 2 solid strikes. As it stumbles and falls, Black Ichor sort of trailing behind it as Calliope, you got a large like gouge in its side, but it stumbles off and is still just elated, holding this thing, like kind of just getting this rush of sensations in your mind that all kind of convey like, I have it, I'm gonna know, it's mine, no, give it to me, just a roiling chaos in all of your heads, and both of you make con saves again as like the presence of these things are just slowly withering at your flesh.
8.
The third 26.
Calliope, you're doing great. Kadam, you're not. You're gonna take 11 points of necrotic damage.
Oh my God.
From all of these things, and
All right.
they are distracted by the head.
That didn't go well. We talked. Let's go.
And they are like starting to like one of them is starting to like grab onto the jaw and is like doing this and like putting its mouth into the head's mouth, but the others are now grabbing and just like pulling, and pieces of this head are
I'm gonna toll the dead on the one that has it and back out.
All right, this is where we're gonna end tonight as Kadam pulls out the mirror. There is one that's still next to you that's looking up at you as you're pulling the mirror out, and in your mind you hear you feel its intent as it's looking at you, and it's like, I want to give too, give me something now, and it's starting to pull and grab at you as you whip this mirror out. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session, as you hear this babbling and cackling just radiating out from this fleshy chamber as all your companions look on. You don't like them?
This is gross.
All right. That's where we're going to end tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Slicey604, for joining tonight. So happy you caught us. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Great imagery, thanks.
Yeah, you did. God, every time you play demons, I don't know, there's like some like a gross part of you that wakes up.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've always been a little goblin man, a little demon. Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you. I enjoy it. This is for later. I do want to say that recently, in the game that Claire is running, that I'm a player in, Claire has done some demon stuff, and I think it's really, really cool. The way that they're doing demons is just so awesome. They're more like harder to comprehend. It's really cool. Anyways, but these are fun. These are just little guys, little creepy guys, little bad guys.
With pustules.
Yeah. All right. see you all next week. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
I always forget to do this. Okay, bye.